Mike, as a play caller, when you start a new relationship with a veteran quarterback like Russ, is it different than if you're a young guy or a rookie or something like that? I mean, he's been there, done that with so many other guys, not with you. Is it very natural to do that with him right away?
Yeah, just opening up the open lines of communication, having dialogue on plays that he likes, things that I like, things that are within the offense already. Maybe there's some crossover, maybe there's some new thoughts. So it's just about kind of opening those lines of communication.
And what about he has in his career has had a lot of leeway to change things at the line and things like that. So where are you going to be with him on that? Is when you call something, I mean, he can obviously change it, but you don't want him to change everything all the time, I would think.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to just being great with the communication, making sure everyone's on the same page, having a plan for how we want to attack a certain look, and having, the appropriate tools to use that, whether that's at the line of scrimmage, whether it's built into the play call, whether it's adjusted at the line of scrimmage just by leverage or coverage look. So there's a lot of different ways to get to that. And certainly the quarterbacks have the keys to the car in terms of being able to operate that way.
Malik has had a lot of flash plays this summer. I'm just curious what you're seeing in him year two here and what you're.
Yeah, Malik has a growth mindset. He's continuing to grow and learn and get better and master his craft, whether it's as an outside receiver, as a slot receiver, in the run game. I think he's just taken a really concerted effort of being really detailed with those things. And, I think you're seeing it with the splash plays and the ability that he has. But I think there's other elements to it. It's, running off on a screen and collecting two DBs down the field. Now those guys are out of the play. It's just those little details that maybe don't show up on the stat sheet that, to me, I'm probably most proud of for him.
Coach, what have you seen so far from Evan Neal this camp, and how does his move inside kind of create more advantages for you as a play caller?
Yeah, Evan's doing a really nice job. I mean, it's not not necessarily easy to go from outside and move inside. Evan's doing it from a communication standpoint. You got to be dialed into the calls. You got to be dialed into double teams a little bit more. If we're going silent cadence, like all those things are kind of they get added on. So he's done a really nice job. I'm proud of him, and I think we still got some more days in camp and some more work there, but he's doing a great job with the work he's done.
As we go to this next phase where you're facing other defenses and teams, what's Jaxson? What are you looking for from Jaxson? I guess as he's on, assuming he's going to be on the field.
Yeah, just like any position, just operating within the confines of the offense and going out there and playing confidently, being decisive, commanding the huddle, and I think for Jaxson, for a young player, I know from my experience, was getting young guys who've probably never played as well. He's out there and calming them down and having great poise and great confidence, and then just going and playing football. It's a game you love and you've been playing it for a long time. So my biggest piece of advice is just go out there, enjoy it, play, have fun, and go be aggressive.
Are you going to look at the production, the stats, or are you just going to look sort of holistically at how he's functioning?
Yeah, we'll evaluate everybody and everything. It's 11 on offense. It's 11-man operation, so everyone's got to be rolling on all cylinders for it to function. And so it's never just about one guy. So yeah, we're going to evaluate everybody.
Whether it's the quarterbacks, the running backs, the receivers, what are you seeing from the veterans in those rooms that are helping lead along, develop, continue to grow all the young guys on the roster who you really think you can tap into and get a lot from this season?
Yeah, that's been the tremendous part about this season thus far in the training camp and the OTAs is these veteran guys have really stepped up into that role. Now it's it's year 4 in the offense. They kind of know the ins and the outs. They can go through and help with the younger players, help them with their learning tools, help them with their fundamentals, with their techniques, and now kind of take that to the next level. And you're seeing guys like Slay, guys like Motor, Tracy, Manhertz, Bellinger, JMS, AT. I mean, all that. GVR. I can go down the list of all the veterans. Jermaine. I mean, all the guys that really have taken young players under their wing and shown them the ropes, and it's been cool to see.
Mike, Tyrone, Tracy, you just referenced him a little bit there, was a bit of a revelation last year for a lot of people. I'm curious what you're seeing in him here this year and what's next for him. What's the next?
Yeah, I just think you're seeing, from my perspective, just a motivated player. He wants to continue to get better. I don't think he was necessarily satisfied with what happened last year, and I think he wants more. And I think he is working to be a more dynamic player in the run game, in the pass game, as a blocker, just fine-tune all those details and really become a complete back.
Mike, how are you different as a play caller now than you were when you came here, when it was your first time as a play caller?
I think as a coach, every year you gotta learn and grow, whether it's from past experiences, from other guys around the league, and so you just continue to dive into that and see what's in your comfort level, how you can be more aggressive in certain situations, how you can look at different situations throughout the game on how certain teams attacked it. Maybe they had a different thought process going into it, so it's about reaching out to other coaches and getting that perspective and getting their feel, and then understanding who you are as a person, understanding what your team is, how they're constructed, and what their strengths are as well.
Coach, everyone has, in separate instances, has spoken about the vibes being different here at camp. Have you seen that, and how has that manifested itself to the type of camp everyone's having?
I think it's been a really competitive camp. I like the mindset our guys have approached each day. No different than today. We got to have a great day today and capitalize on the opportunity. You just get such limited opportunities throughout OTAs and training camps, so you just got to make the most of them. Right? And each play is a learning experience, understanding that, okay, if I made a good play, great. Like, you can take that to the bank and build off it. Or if I made a mistake, how can I learn from that to not make it happen again? And so I think that's just, whether it's a veteran guy, whether it's a young player, getting them to understand that these opportunities are valuable, but you can, if you do have a mistake or have a correction, you can learn from it and grow from it.
Where is Jaxson in his development? I guess we've had 2 weeks of camp with him.
I'd say Jaxson is right on schedule from what we'd expect in terms of just understanding the offense, continuing to grow and learn every day. I mean, every day we're presenting him with, and not just him, but all the quarterbacks with different situations, and some situations he's probably never seen before. So those have been good to build off of, whether it's in the 2-minute, whether it's a third down situation or a certain blitz look that we're getting. He's able to kind of grow and learn from those examples, and now he can, as he starts banking more and more looks, more and more reps, and we do a lot of this throughout the walkthrough as well, he can kind of see, now he's starting to put the picture together a little bit better and cleaner for a rookie.
Mike, Amir is a guy who got here late last year, probably, had a lot of catch up to do with the offensive playbook and didn't get a lot of opportunities. So now that he's in his second year, what are you seeing from him as a receiver?
Yeah, Amir is just a pleasure to be around in terms of the person. Great energy every single day. Obviously, you see what he can do on the special teams side of it. On the offensive side, I think having that limited exposure last year and now having a full offseason, I think it's starting to make sense for him a little bit more. And again, we're putting him in different spots, not just playing the slot. He could be outside. So just kind of building off of what he had last year and now getting more comfortable in the offense this offseason.
Take a few more.
In your background, watching people call plays and calling them yourself, how much can a quarterback, with Andy, I'm sure you've seen it, plays just okay, quarterback elevates it. The play's a good call, quarterback really elevates it. How much can a quarterback save a play caller sometimes?
It's a player's game. It's always been. It's a player's game, and whether it's the quarterback position or the running back or the offensive line or the skill guys, those guys make the play come to life. And so, I think when you look at a lot of the teams across the league, there's a lot of creative schemes out there, but you got to put the players in the position to be successful. And then again, I think the players kind of take it to the next level.
Like this, stretching the defense horizontally with misdirection, help an offense get vertical. Like, is that a conscious thing about how you call plays, and where does that come from?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say that when you're constructing an offense, just in general, you want to force the defense to defend the whole entire width and depth of the field. So there could be different elements of the run game that can attack it. It could be different elements of the pass game, screens, motions, vertical levels type plays that can get that accomplished. So you're looking at not only the spots on the field, you're looking at the people that are in those spots. Maybe we want to attack a linebacker or a certain flat defender, but you want to attack a certain safety's leverage. And how do you get that done based off of a certain action that may get that to influence that particular player? So, you're thinking of the space, you're thinking of putting stress on certain players, flat defenders, high lows on backers, the width and depth of safeties, and then you start putting the people in those spots to do that with their strengths. So it could be a speed receiver, it could be a bigger body on a matchup on a smaller body on defense. It could be quick motions and expanding the width to put that player in different stresses in terms of a run fit or a pass fit. So that's what we look at, and so we try to do that and put the guys in the right spot and get looks at it. And if it doesn't work out, we kind of formulate it and then talk about it as a staff and then get a better solution.
Is it a conscious effort of you as a play caller to set up plays for later, like out of the same look, running the same look but a different play? Is that always conscious? It seems like you do that a lot, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, there is a conscious effort to do that on certain things. I wouldn't say it doesn't have to necessarily be a 1-for-1 type situation where it has to marry this exact look, but I think it just goes back to like who are you putting in conflict and how do you do that within, the certain couple plays that you want to package together. Does this guy have the same fit in this run or this pass or this formation? And then how do you marry those things up and maybe put him in conflict a couple different ways?